There we go. Let's do this. Who am I missing? Okay, I got Jack, got Thane, got Jacob. Good. No, I think that's pretty much it, actually. Okay. I also would have liked if you could have swapped characters. Like, you'd have like essentially like a good or evil version of a character. And that would have been more interesting. To say like, oh, you can get the Justicar or Jack. You could get Morden, or you could get like someone like Ish that would be like a little more evil and devious. Like, I appreciate, like, I would have liked that more if you had like basically like light side, dark side characters, and that would like affect like your Renegade or Paragon settings. I did like Rex and Rex coming back, but again, his story peters out. It's like they just said like, oh yeah, we have this, just scuttle, 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 okay, we're done. You know, oh, we made, 3 quests with him, we're done. And, like, on his planet entirely. Other than that, most of the characters, like Anderson says, like, nothing, even though he's very important in the first one. He's nobody in this one, and it's kind of silly that they just, like, threw away a perfectly good character. Other than that, really, like, the yeoman that they give, I could really give a crap less about her. She was the most annoying thing in the world. You have a message. Tali wants to talk to you. Annoying. The 2 people down in engineering were just one big, like, Star Trek tie-in, and it was stupid. I was just like, oh, a guy who speaks Scottish in engineering. How original. Or has a Scottish accent in engineering. There's no such language as Scottish. It's Gaelic. But, so you have that, and it's just kind of, I don't know. It's cliche, is what I should say. The other thing is that, you know what, I'm just going to get off characters, because I have enough other stuff to do. Side quests. I've already pretty much mentioned side quests with characters, because that's pretty much all of them. The anomalies were interesting, but most of them were very cookie cutter. I did like the puzzle one, and like the evil robots one, and stuff like that. Some of that stuff was interesting, but was it really worth, like, searching every planet for? Not really. I mean, you got like almost no experience. You got 100 experience with them, and then you'd need like 300 to level up. So you'd do like 3 of them, and you'd still be like 25 away from your next level. Because of course it's 325. But yeah, I just thought that you didn't get enough money or experience for them. They were kind of really shoddy. And I mean, the gains weren't that great. I mean, most of them, it was just some minerals and money and experience, and that was it. It wasn't like you got new weapons for a lot of them or anything, or like you went there and you got Geth Shield up. Like, some of them did have that, but it was so touch and go with which one said which. And also, the side quests were 90% of the game. No, they were more like 95% of the game. The mini-games in it. The mini-games in this for PC were really poorly set up. The cursor takes way too long to move across, and occasionally it gets, like, sleepy as you're playing. Even when I did it off-screen, the cursor will just get sleepy, because it won't move that fast across. The other one was pathetically easy. Like, a match game, not that interesting. And even the circuit board one wasn't that interesting. They were both just kind of there to be annoying. At least the first one with the Frogger one was a little bit better, and then you'd use Omnigel. So, let's see. Weapons. Weapons in this one, there just weren't enough of them. There weren't enough decisions. Like, why is my assault rifle only 3-round burst? Like, that is so annoying. Why on earth could I have like almost 800 bullets for my machine pistol, but I can only hold 18 of my like high caliber pistol? Like, why could I hold almost 800 bullets of, heavy weapons ammunition, but my assault rifle only gets 100 bullets? Like, it just made no sense. Like, why would I have less there? it occurred to me that it was just silly. It was like something that they didn't think about. And like I expanded weapons and stuff, and I tried to aim things so that way I'd have more ammo for the stuff that I used more. But it really didn't do much. Other than that, like, I like the fact that I can branch out and at least get 4 weapons, yeah. So that was nice. But the first game, even though some of them are useless, there were more weapons in the first game, so it felt like a downgrade. Most of the combat with the weapons was pretty much exactly the same. It was just how well you could aim. The machine pistol actually, as time went on, got less and less and less and less accurate. At first it was like, quick shot, everything drops dead. And then it slowly weaned its way down to like firing 6 clips at one person. I mean, I understand why you'd have like freaking 800 bullets for it. Well, anyway, the next one, inventory. There was no inventory. I'm sorry, but it's silly when you don't have a real inventory. Your inventory is picking weapons out of menus and going up to your crook or your captain's nest and searching stuff. Really kind of ridiculous. The gameplay overall, it played like a generic first-person shooter. Really generic first-person shooter. Really on par with a crappy version of like Kill Switch or other games like that. So there's not much I can really say about the gameplay. It was pretty boring. I mean, the talking parts were more interesting than the combat was. The combat was just kind of like lots of enemies, shoot them all, wait another second, more enemies appear, shoot them all, wait a second, more enemies appear, shoot them all, walk forward, more enemies appear, shoot them all, walk forward, more enemies appear, shoot them all. I mean, it was pathetically formulaic. The cover thing is nice, and it works to, like, you know, being somewhat realistic, but it's kind of ridiculous. It's not inspired. There was nothing really new about the combat. The clicking, like, you had to duck behind something and then press forward and click again to go over it, was really obnoxious. The melee combat part of it was, again, I don't understand why melee combat's so powerful. Like, if your pistol isn't as powerful as punching someone, you have issues. Other than that, there's not much I have to say about it. The ending was the dumbest ending I've ever seen in a video game. As I said to Delirious, I was like, it would be like at the end of Killzone 3 when they're about to, you know, destroy the ship. Instead, out of nowhere, a giant wiener just flies through space. And they all jump aboard the giant wiener. That would really, that's what this ending was. Or like, you know, you're at the end of, you know, something like Dark Corners of the Earth, and instead your last enemy is like a teddy bear that every time you hit it, it's like, I love you! You know, it was uninspired and stupid. Frankly, like a giant Terminator, Space Terminator, really? Like, that's what you're going with? Because you could have thought about a million different things. Even if it was like a half-assembled Reaper ship, it would have been more interesting. I was hoping it would be Harbinger, and he would be in some half-made Reaper ship, and it would be awesome. But no, it was a gigantic Terminator that apparently requires, to build it, you have to pump human slurry into. It didn't make any sense. It felt like they got a bunch of people and they said, okay, what do you like? Well, first, here's some weed. Get really high and tell me what's really cool. And they were like, giant stuff. Robots! Giant robots! Like the Terminator. Yeah, the Terminator was awesome. Dude, did you see that movie? And then they were like, let's program around these results. And they came up with that. I mean, I think it frankly ruined the game. Like, no matter how great the rest of the parts are, the ending is so bad it ruins the game. It's game breaking. And it's getting interested in what's happening, and like you have all these fight scenes and you're blowing up the ships, and then it all ends with a giant Terminator is just stupid. That's really all I can say. I can say that it's the worst ending in a video game for a very long time. Now, comparing Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 1 I thought was so much better, but some of the smaller parts in Mass Effect 2 made it better. Would have been better if they were added to the first one. I think the first one's inventory system and all that kind of stuff was great if you tweaked in the upgrade features of that. So instead of having all those annoying little micro menus where you have to attach new stuff on, instead you can just choose right out what kind of weapon you have, and then that's it. That would have been a lot better decision. I don't understand why they switched from the overheating system to the ammo system. It really felt like they just said, like, screw it, let's just go to an ammo system. It's better than putting in, calculations for overheating. Why would you go from a weapon that had infinite ammo to a weapon that, uses these clips? Like, ultimately, even if the weapon with infinite ammo is weaker than one that does use these thermal clips, it would be smarter to use the other one, to use the one with infinite ammo, because you're always stronger because you never run out of ammo, whereas the other one, all you have to do is wait for them to fire out all their rounds and then you can kill them. It really was like a gimmick thing. I didn't ever run out of ammo to the point where I had nothing, and it was kind of silly. I really never ran out of ammo without being able to see other ammo around. In the beginning it was a little bit of a pinch, but overall it was not really that hard to get ammo. You just had to kill people. Or you could just keep using your skills, just skill spam. I really have minimal interest to play Mass Effect 3 after this game. They kind of ruined it. I think that the good, strong things they had in 1 got weaned out in 2 and left with an overall generic story, that the side quests were had more story than the main arc of the game. The other thing is that, frankly, I hate games that split themselves into 2. If you're going to make a game, you make a whole game. You can leave a nuance to a second one, but you create a whole story for the first one. Mass Effect 2 felt like they just sheared a story in half, and they're like, screw it, let's just get it out there. And they were like, you know what, if we just split the story, we can have 2 games and make more money. I don't care about that. I would rather to have the whole story and feel complete and satisfied in it. Here's an example. Killzone has a complete story. And when it finishes, it alludes that there's more to it than this is. This is just a battle out of a great war. Then Killzone 2 does the same thing. Then Killzone 3 goes off kind of on its own little tangent. But those first 2 really, they had their own solid story, and they alluded that there was something more. There was something more going on. I don't understand why Mass Effect ruined this theory. You can't just shear a game in half and expect people to buy it and think it's okay. This kind of behavior needs to stop in the video game industry altogether, because it essentially makes no one want to play the game. People are interested in the story, but to find out that you only get half the story and you have to wait 2 years before you get the other half of the story, you won't even remember the first story in the first place, and you probably already traded it into GameStop, or there's a new system out, so you don't care anymore. It really is just annoying. That's all I can say. It's annoying. And I would have preferred to have complete character arcs and story arcs to where they can at least be okay, well, we've cured the genophage, or Rex has become the dominant Krogan on the Krogan homeworld, and his clan is creating democracy and stuff like that on it, or something a little more interesting. But I think Mass Effect 1 had a better plot altogether, even though Saren was archetypal. But the second one with the collectors and all that was just, I don't know, it just made a generic enemy. It was like the Geth in the first one. And again, both of these games feel like a Star Wars game that never got made, and then they just threw in new characters. Really uninspired. My overall thoughts on them, not really that great. I think that because 2 is so bad, it pretty much ruins the first one. The first one I could see myself maybe playing through once more, except even though it's frustrating. The second one, I did everything. Like, there's nothing left to do. Like, the only other thing left to do is either be evil or bang a different alien. And neither of those sound interesting. So, overall, I give this... I give Mass Effect 1 about a C. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just in the middle. It's generic. Mass Effect 2, I probably give a D. If you hadn't played the first one, there's no point in playing the second one. Like, all the other stuff surrounding it, not that interesting. Yeah, the ending was terrible. The opening was stupid. And there really is no main story. So there's pretty much nothing. It's a big fluff game. But, I don't know. Overall, I'd give the series franchise a D. I mean, it's... I can't get hopeful for Mass Effect 3, and this game really is just... that's all I can say, is... I mean, go them for trying, but... That's all I have to say about my review. Rather disappointed. So, that's all for Mass Effect until Mass Effect 3 comes out, and I'll wait the 90 days, let them do whatever their thing is, or whenever it's cheap, I'll buy it and play through it for you. But that's only when they have a non-buggy PC version. So that's all for Mass Effect 1 and 2. With me, Morak Dias. See you later. I have to go back to my ship first. Now, see you later.